Dear friends, before we set sail on this new voyage, I invite you to settle into your favorite corner, perhaps with a blanket over your shoulders or a warm cup in your hands. If you like this content as much as I do, give it a like and subscribe. The story begins. Close your eyes and step into the cool of stone. Smell wet iron, salt from the harbor, the faint sweetness of rotting fruit. Hear the sea beating its slow drum beyond the walls, and the small song of a night frog, bright as a pin in the dark. A rope hangs in a yard above, swaying to a wind that smells of rain. Beneath, in a cell that remembers every whisper, a man waits with shackled hands and a throat full of tomorrow. They call him simply the pirate. Down the steps comes the hiss of a lamp. A slim hand shades the flame. Keys click against a cord, and there she is, the executioner's daughter, a shadow with a pulse, eyes that watch like lanterns over black water. Imagine the way the air tightens when a storm leans close. Imagine the hush before you speak a name you're not supposed to know. Hold it. The story begins where fear and desire trade glances through iron bars. San Juan crouches on its rock like a beast at the edge of the Caribbean, all teeth and prayer. In the fortress, stone corridors breathe damp and echo the clank of every chain. The pirate has been here 3 nights. His shoulder bears a cut that is not closed, and his wrists wear raw moons. He is not young and not old. Sea years blur such lines. He has a laugh somewhere. He has a song. He has scars that tell stories even in silence. She comes with a wooden bowl and a clay jug. No one likes to touch the work of her household. Children cross themselves when she passes. Women pull in their laundry. Men make signs as if she carries the rope shadow in her skirts. She learned to arrange her face into calm many years ago. She keeps it now as if it were a blade. Water, she says. Is it blessed? The pirate asks. No, she answers. It's only wet. He drinks. The jug's lip knocks the iron ring at his wrist. He grins as if the sound pleases him. How long? He asks. 3 days from the last moon, she replies. At dawn. That is tomorrow, then. He lifts his face toward the ceiling as if he could see the sky and smiles like a man who has already stared it down. Perhaps you wonder, standing here with us, if mercy lives in such places. Perhaps you ask what draws a woman born under a hangman's shadow to a man who will meet her father's rope. Keep the question like a coin in your mouth. Do not spend it yet. She sets the wooden bowl on the floor and pushes it under the bars with her foot. Eat, she says, if you want to stand in the morning. Do you want me to stand? He asks. She tilts her head, the lamp painting a soft gold on her cheek. It is not my job to want anything. He studies her then, the way a sailor studies a horizon, measuring wind in the smallest leaf. His gaze is not polite. It is not cruel. It is a weighing. He finds something there, something like a door not yet opened, and his smile grows narrower, hungrier. What is your job, then? To watch, she says, to make sure you do not die before the city asks you to. A game begins in that sentence, born of need, shaped by fear, wrapped in something that looks like heat when the lamp flickers. She returns the next night, because duty is a rope that binds both ends. The fortress breathes the same damp breath. Out in the yard, a gallows waits, patient as a fisherman's net. The pirate waits too, awake and alert, the way men on deck await a breaking sky. He watches her bring a bandage and a little jar of oil. For the cut, she says, not quite looking at him. Your hands will get dirty, he says. They already are. She steps close, and there's only the width of the bars between his body and her lamp. The iron feels warm where the flame has licked it. She threads her fingers through and takes his arm to draw it near. He does not resist. He does not flinch. The scent of her, Smoke and salt and something like orange peel moves the air. She cleans the wound like a prayer whispered between clenched teeth, slow and careful. He watches her mouth as if reading there a map to another life. "Tell me a thing that is true," he says, voice low, as if the stones might carry it to listening ears. She ties the cloth. "I am tired of being feared," she answers, and the words are a flame that surprises even her. She tries to blow it out with a laugh and fails. "Then, let us trade," he says. "Truth for truth. A game." His eyes dance with a light not in the lamp. "I will start. I have killed men who deserved it and men who did not. I remember the faces of the second kind in my sleep." She inhales, and her shoulders ease. "My father wanted a son to hand the blade to. He got me." The city looks at me and sees his hands. "Does he love you?" the pirate asks. "He's proud," she says. Then, after a breath, "He loves the work more. Silence, but not empty. The kind of silence that holds a crowd of words behind the curtain." The pirate leans closer, and the bars seat themselves between the two of them like teeth. He speaks softly. "Another truth. I am not afraid to die. I'm afraid to be forgotten." "Another truth," she replies, voice barely there. "I came tonight because I wanted to, not because they sent me." The lamp trembles. The stones listen. A moth touches the flame and writes a brief poem in smoke. If you close your eyes, you can feel the warmth between the bars, the nearness of skin that does not touch, the heady tilt of rules bending. There's a scrape at the end of the corridor. She snuffs the lamp at once, and the dark slides over them like water. A guard's steps pass, slow, counting, indifferent. The guard's shadow melts into the stair. She relights the lamp with a hand that is steady only because it must be. "You are good at this," the pirate says, smile back in place. "Good at what?" "At being the door and the lock," he says. "At letting in only what you choose." She lifts her chin. "Eat," she says again, but her mouth curves as if the word tastes sweet. They invent more rules for their game, because games are ways to make chaos bow its head. The first rule, no names. Names can be called loudly in a yard. The second, 2 knocks for yes, 1 for no, when silence must stand where words would betray. The third, no touching through the bars unless asked, and then only hands, wrists, the brush of a knuckle, the edge of a jaw. The fourth, if either says enough, the game ends, and they return to the safe, dry country of duty. Imagine the feel of iron under your fingers. The story whispers to you. The heat of a palm that meets yours through it, the way a pulse finds your pulse, and how that single point of contact can set the whole body on fire. He tells her about the open water at night, when the sea glows with small stars that are not stars, and the wake writes silver lines behind the hull. He tells her about a boy who died with a smile because he thought he had seen an angel wash her hair in the foam. He tells her about hunger, the true kind, and about mango flesh warmed by a deck at noon. She tells him about the city behind the walls, how it smells after rain, how the women at the well drop their eyes when she arrives. She tells him about the first time she saw her father bind a man's wrists, not the rope, but the way his face went quiet, the way he made himself small rather than large. She tells him how she started waking before dawn to hear the frogs sing, because their simple joy is louder in the dark. The game finds a fifth rule on its own, a token for a token. She brings him a thin slice of candied peel wrapped in a scrap of paper. He gives her a corner of a chart he kept in his boot, the paper softened by years and sweat. She brings him linen, soft as rain. He gives her a little knot he learned to tie at 12, a knot that never slips if you set it right. When she oils his wrists, he asks, "May I touch you?" He knocks twice, then waits because rules hold or nothing holds. She offers her hand. He takes it as if receiving a relic, bows his head and sets his mouth softly to the heel of her palm. The kiss is not a taking. It is a seal. She shivers but does not pull back. She lifts his hand in turn and touches his scarred knuckles to the hollow beneath her throat. Her breath is fast. She slows it with force. Both of them laugh without sound, a small quake in the chest. Perhaps you wonder, the tail leans in, where the line lies in a place like this. Perhaps you measure the inches to it and ask who will cross first. Keep wondering. Rain comes on the second night and stays. The corridors smell of wet hemp and old smoke. A drip counts seconds in the corner. She arrives with a larger lamp and more certainty. The guard on duty is a man who learned to nap on his feet and believes in the honesty of locks. She gives him a jug with too much rum in it and keeps the key's cold weight against her own heart. "The knot you gave me," she says. "Show me how it works." "It belongs to a line," he says. "It wants to carry weight." He smiles at his own double meaning and raises his eyebrows like a boy caught stealing sugar. "May I?" He nods toward the ring of keys. "No," she says gently. "Not yet." "Not yet," he repeats, as if the words taste like fruit. They play a new round, breath and distance. She leans close until their foreheads almost meet at the iron, then pulls back the space of a finger. He follows, stops, lets the hunger stretch like a bow between them, and hums sweetly in the air. They set rules even for this: 3 breaths to draw near, 3 to rest, 3 to step away. Both of them shake by the end, eyes bright, mouths soft. No one is hurt, nothing is forced, everything is chosen. The dark stones begin to look warm. On the 3rd night, the storm dies. Dawn will bring the rope. She comes in with her small lamp and the key she did not mean to use. She stands outside the bars and listens to the guard snore. It's a deep, easy sound, like a barrel rolling. The city is quiet above, but the sea is not. The sea whispers like a friend who knows the end of the story and loves it anyway. "I have a final game," she says. "Say it," he answers. "Time," she says. "I open the lock for an hour, no more. You will do only what I ask. If I say stop, we stop. At the end, I close the lock again. At dawn, I take you to the yard." She swallows hard. "If you try to run, I will cry out." "I will not run," he says. It is a promise that sounds ridiculous in such a mouth, but his eyes do not laugh. He knocks twice, once, twice again. "Why?" she asks. "Because I want this more," he says, and the words lift the skin on her arms like wind. She breathes once, twice, thrice. She slides the key in. The ward turns with a soft animal sigh. The door opens. He does not move until she nods. He steps out and stands very still, as if the floor might break under a foot set too hard. Up close, he smells of iron and salt and the sharp, bitter edge of a man who has lived too fast. She lifts the lamp. It gilds his throat, the line of his jaw, the silver threads at his temple. He is beautiful in the way storms are beautiful when you are not under them. "Come," she says. "Sit." She sits on the bench along the wall. He sits at her feet like a man at chapel and lays his head in her lap as if it belonged there. Her hand finds his hair. It is softer than his face promised. She laughs, shaky, and he laughs too. And for a breath they are only 2 fools at night, not a keeper and a doomed man. "May I dance with you?" he asks, surprising them both. "In a cell?" she says, and her mouth bends into light. Yes, they stand. They place hands where hands have asked to be. They sway to a rhythm only they can hear, the slow roll of the sea pressed into their bones. His breath warms her cheek. Her breath warms his throat. He asks again with his eyes. She nods. Their mouths meet, gentle, then not. They break and laugh, they meet again and do not laugh. She guides him, he follows. He asks, she answers. They keep their rules even here. If one says enough, they stop. When she says the word once, he rests his forehead to hers until her breath eases. When he says it later, she kisses his hands and waits. They move in the space they have, making of it a wide place. The lamp lowers. The shadows climb the wall like ivy. Close your eyes if you want, and imagine only warmth and breath and the joy of being chosen in the dark by someone who could have turned away. Do not ask for more than that. They did not. They did not need to. When the hour has its last drop, she steps back. He does not clutch. He bows his head and offers his wrists. I will not make it harder, he says. You already have, she whispers, and the truth of it fills the room until there is no other air. She closes the lock. It is much louder this time. Morning arrives like a blade through cloth. The yard bleeds pale light. The rope hangs ignorant and faithful. Men gather, because the world loves a spectacle that costs it nothing. Merchants in clean coats, sailors with sleep still in one eye, a priest with a collar white as bone. A trumpet wails once, thin and tired. The executioner steps out in his hood, not because he hides, but because the city demands the ritual. He has big hands, square and scarred, and a back that does not bend. His daughter stands one pace behind him, face uncovered, hair smooth, mouth set. She watches the sky to keep the ground from splitting at her feet. The guard brings the pirate to the yard. The pirate walks as if he were stepping onto a deck that leans. He nods once to the priest, once to the crowd, once to the rope, the way a man nods to tools he knows. When he sees her, he does not smile at first. Then he does, and the smile is small and wicked and soft. Do you have last words? The priest asks. The pirate considers. He looks at the executioner's hands. He looks at the daughter's eyes. He says, Tell the sea I remember the taste of mango in the sun, and the crowd laughs as if he were being rude. He adds in a voice meant for one person, Tell the frogs to sing loud tonight. No one understands but her. Perhaps you feel the rope in your own throat now. Perhaps your hands curl, useless as if they might find a knot and undo it with a wish. Breathe. Stay with us. The executioner does his work with the respect of a craft inherited, not a cruelty enjoyed. He sets the loop with care so the neck will break at once. He meets the pirate's eyes because a man deserves to be seen. The pirate meets his steady gaze and nods. They are not enemies here. They are two men who know what a job demands. She stands very still. The people in the crowd blur and blend. Only the rope is sharp. Only his face is bright. The world pauses on the beat between heartbeats. The trap drops. There is no long struggle. It happens the way a candle goes out when you pinch it the right way. A sound, a twitch, a silence. The body hangs quiet. Someone sighs like a church emptied after a wedding. The priest mutters. The crowd scatters into its day. The executioner removes the rope, lowers the weight, gestures. Two men lift the body to the cart. He turns to his daughter with a look that is not praise and not pity and not surprise. It is the look of a man who knows he brings water to a fire that will never be fully out. Go, he says. You have work. She goes. The cell is warmer now. Heat sticks to stone after a crowd gathers outside. The lamp in her hand shakes just once. She sets it down and presses her palm to the iron. It is cool. It should be cool. She gathers what remains, the cloth she wrapped for his wrist, the little knot he had tied, the corner of chart. She folds them like altar linen. She tucks the knot into her sleeve. She presses the chart to her lips because she knows no prayer for this. She sits on the bench and breathes until her breath belongs to her again. Then she stands and walks the corridor. The guard nods as if nothing has happened, because to him nothing has. She passes men who talk of market prices and the way rain has made the road a mess. She hears a boy whistle a tune about a girl with a red skirt. The world shifts only slightly, like a ship adjusting to a new wind. At the well, women do not look away. They do not look at her either. She takes water and says nothing. She pours a little out to the dust because there is no sea here to receive it. She goes home and sets the folded things beneath her bed. They wait there like a secret tide. At night, the frogs sing. They sing louder, perhaps because someone asked them to, or perhaps because they always do at the end of a hot day. She walks to the edge of the wall and looks out where the dark is not empty. She closes her eyes and leans her head against the stone, warm from the day. Imagine you are with her now, the story says, gentle. You feel the roughness against your forehead, the air wet on your lips, the way grief and desire tangle like weeds and refuse to be separated. What would you do? Would you make vows to the moon? Would you climb onto a ship? Would you sleep? She does not vow. She does not run. She stands and breathes and keeps the sound of his laugh folded in her chest like a small sail you take out when the wind is fair. When she lies down, she closes her fingers around the knot he made. It does not slip. She sleeps and dreams of a cell that was for 1 hour an open room, and of a rope that cannot reach where she is. In the morning, the city is itself. The market opens. A rooster boasts. The sea throws light into every crack of the wall. The world does not weep for long because it has too much to do, but under its noise, something has moved. Her father asks for the keys. She brings them. He sets a hand on her shoulder. It is heavy and very human. It was clean, he says. That is what matters. She nods. Yes, she says, clean. He studies her face, seeing perhaps the ghost of the man who smiled. He says nothing more. He does not know the word for what he sees. She takes her basket and goes to buy bread. She passes the yard and does not look down. She looks up. A gull writes a white line across the blue and cries the way gulls cry, like laughter that hurts. If you listen, truly listen, you will hear, under the trade and the talk and the knives on the whetstone, the echo of a laugh in a dark room and the soft click of a lock that chose for 1 hour to open. And if you close your eyes, you might feel 2 hands through iron, warm and sure, and know that even in a place made for endings, a heart can write its own brief burning line across the sky and be seen. Now I'll let you sleep.